This is the one nerd power.
The national treasure of Mary Geoise possesses the ability to erase the memories of every individual on the planet, and Emu has wielded this power to assert control over the world. There is no other way to explain how the world government managed to wipe out history on a global scale.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave a comment, and let me know what you think. Spoiler alert.
The world government, under the guise of safeguarding the locations of ancient weapons, has strictly prohibited any investigation into the Void Century, destroying any records pertaining to that era. The Tree of Knowledge contained thousands of historic resources that were gathered from all across the globe over hundreds of years, including a poneglyph. The tree was used by the archaeologists in O'Hara to research the Void Century until the government obliterated it via a buster call. In the world of One Piece, most people live on scattered islands. Despite that, the world government has effectively erased 100 years of history all across the entire globe. Is that not a strange phenomenon? Even when historical records are obliterated, should people not pass on their knowledge to succeeding generations? There is a clear contrast in how the Shin'gya preserved their history via oral tradition. During the Void Century, Shandora was attacked by the 20 Kingdoms, which eventually evolved into the world government. However, the Shin'gya have no knowledge of what happened during the Void Century. They recognize the importance of safeguarding the poneglyphs left by their ancestors, however, they do not know the exact details. Compare it with the history of Kalgara and Mont Blanc Noland, which has been passed down through generations for 400 years. Even Kalgara did not know why it was his duty to protect the poneglyphs. How is it that in one instance they possess only strangely specific fragments of information, yet in another, they grasp the entire narrative, despite also being a tale from centuries ago? Several locations are isolated from the rest of the planet, and are not under the influence of the world government. Yet, the people living there are ignorant of what happened during the Void Century. Noah, also known as the Ship of Promise, is an enormous ship that was created by the inhabitants of Fishman Island during the Void Century and was part of a failed attempt to move into the human world. The Ship of Noah has great significance to the people of Fishman Island. Even so, they do not know its exact origins and purpose. Zunisha, a colossal elephant, roams endlessly through the New World, bearing the island of Zo upon its back. Punished for a crime committed 800 years ago, Zunisha was condemned to traverse the seas for eternity. The minks residing on Zo are unaware of their kingdom's past, and they were surprised to find out that Zunisha had a will of its own. Originally situated at sea level, Wano was surrounded by massive walls during the Void Century, a construction method unknown to its inhabitants. This enclosure led to catastrophic flooding from rainwater accumulation. The people of Wano do not know why their country closed its borders. Fishman Island, Zo, and Wano Country are all locations with limited interaction with the outside world, yet their citizens lack knowledge of their own history. The Great Kingdom opted to preserve the history of the Void Century by engraving it on indestructible stones known as poneglyphs. But why did they choose this method? What led them to select such an enduring means of recording their history? The answer is that Emu used the power of national treasure of Mary Geoise to erase the memories of all individuals worldwide. This may sound like an absurd claim, but the concept of memory erasure is not unprecedented in the world of One Piece. Sugar, possessing the Habi no Mi, wielded the ability to erase memories regardless of distance. Numerous parallels can be drawn between Doflamingo's rule over Dressrosa and the world government as a whole. Sugar was a short figure, adorned with a crown and cape, who remained perpetually youthful. Sugar serves as a representation of Emu. Like Sugar, Emu possesses the capability to erase memories. There is simply no alternative explanation for how the world government could have so thoroughly expunged the history of the Void Century worldwide. This explains why the nations that opposed the world government resorted to the creation of the poneglyphs. They protected their history by engraving it onto indestructible stones. It is worth noting that while some regions retain limited knowledge of the Void Century, such information is often curiously vague or incomplete. Snippets of information about the Void Century can still be gleaned from books or other sources. For instance, King Cobra revealed that his family's awareness of the poneglyph stemmed from a letter left by their ancestor, Nefertari D. Lily, who refused to relocate to Mary Jua 800 years ago during the formation of the world government. Similarly, other countries possess personal records telling them to protect the poneglyph. By having their memories constantly erased, they were left with fragmented knowledge, impeding their capacity to take meaningful action or organize effectively. After achieving 3,000 consecutive victories, Geoise was acknowledged as a legendary gladiator in Dressrosa. However, the powers of the Hobby no Mi transformed him into a toy, causing him to be utterly forgotten by the population. While Geoise's feats were immortalized in a statue at the Colosseum, skepticism lingered, with some questioning the veracity of the tale. Rebecca pointed out that the statue remained a mystery, as no one could recall ever encountering Geoise in person. Similarly, the details of the Void Century mysteriously vanished from historical records. Despite the profound impact this period had on numerous civilizations, only a few written accounts remain. In Chapter 716, Doflamingo said he could control CP0 because he knew the secret of the national treasure of Mary Jua. With that knowledge, he was able to manipulate the celestial dragons. As a mere 10 years old, Don Quixote Doflamingo took the life of his own father and brought his head to Mary Jua. However, his act failed to win their acceptance, though it led him to uncover the truth concealed within the national treasure. Despite the celestial dragon's efforts to hunt Doflamingo, he successfully evaded their grasp. Doflamingo also mentioned that the OP no Mi would have granted him the ability to utilize the power of the national treasure to control the world. Let me get this straight. The celestial dragons are famous for terrorizing citizens everywhere they go for their own amusement. When it was discovered that Don Quixote Homing's family were former celestial dragons, they were taken by regular people who wanted revenge, and not even his children were spared. Yet Doflamingo knew a secret so unsettling that he could force the celestial dragons to follow his accord. The secret is that the world government erased the collective memories of humanity, thereby eradicating technological advancements, so people would be easier to control. Doflamingo also knew that the OP no Mi, which is necessary to use the power of the treasure, was no longer in the possession of the government. I would even speculate that Doflamingo is the one who took the life of the OP no Mi user that day, but that is a minor detail in this theory. Regardless of what happened, without the power to erase memories, people have been slowly gathering information about the past. This is what Doflamingo was referring to when he said that the power of the national treasure had a short life in Chapter 916. This occurred 31 years ago. After that, things went downhill for the world government. It was 25 years ago that Gold Roger successfully reached Laugh Tale, the ultimate island of the Grand Line, thus earning the title of Pirate King. 1 year later, Roger surrendered to the Marines. During his execution, Roger proclaimed that anyone who can find his treasure can claim it, initiating the era known as the Great Age of Pirates. 22 years ago, the government discovered the efforts of O'Hara's archaeologists delving into the mysteries of the Void Century, and had no other option but to eliminate them. In response, Dragon, a close friend of Professor Clover, founded the Revolutionary Army to challenge the government's authority. Rox D. Zebek, who commanded a crew probably even more powerful than the Roger Pirates, mysteriously vanished from history. There is a stark contrast between Roger and Rox, one whose name is known by everyone, and Rox who disappeared almost completely from collective memory. The Rox Pirates, comprising 3 late Yonko and other legendary individuals like Shiki the Golden Lion and Captain John, wrought havoc worldwide under Rox D. Zebek's leadership. The Rox met their demise at a place known as God Valley 38 years ago. According to the news, the Rox were defeated by Marine Vice Admiral Garp, who gained the title of Hero of the Marines. But in reality, Garp allied with Gold Roger and together defeated the Rox Pirates. Even so, despite it being news worldwide, people seem to not know about it anymore. When Sengoku was telling the story of the Rox in Chapter 957, the Marines themselves were shocked they never heard about the Rox. They did not even know why Garp was called the hero of the Marines. According to Sengoku, The reason why the rocks were forgotten is because the world government erased all records about them, and the former members of the crew do not like to talk about it. All knowledge about the rocks only exists in the memories of some older Marines. All too convenient for the government. Think about it, the entire world knows about the time Luffy invaded Annie's lobby and rescued Nico Robin. But how could all people forget about the rocks? Now I would like to hear your opinion. Thank you for watching and see you next time.